Have an MFT3? These are the ultimate upgrade. So one of our patrons of the Sedge Tool channel reached out and said he was not happy with the consistency of crosscuts with the MFT3. And he asked, have you used the TSO MFT Aligned Guide Rail Support Upgrade Kit? And I wrote back and I said, I have not. I can't comment on it because I haven't used it. Well, guess what? In this video, you're gonna find out why, and my opinion on why this is the ultimate MFT3 upgrade. Before I show you how to set these up, okay? And it's very easy because it's got killer instructions with it and it's just a simple process. But I wanna show you why some people struggle with this. It's because the bracket here is plastic. And to raise and lower it here on the front and back bracket, this is the back bracket, okay? There's a little bit of wiggle room in here. Once you have it all squared and you're changing the height of it, there's plastic here, and the precision grinding of the TSO bracket on this piece of aluminum is exceptional. So what we basically do is we're gonna replace this plastic part with this precision milled part. Over time, plastic wears. This will not. First of all, you're gonna notice the weight of this is substantial versus the plastic beads that comes with the MFT. But I also want to go through some of the little things on this that just is so awesome. It's the precision grinding of this. So I want to show you, see this little key right here? When it fits in the MFT, right here, we're going to put a couple of knobs. There's no slop whatsoever. But it also registers here on the top of the V-groove. So there's 0.0 slop in this. So what we're basically going to do is we're going to replace these brackets with the plastic brackets. And if you have an MFT and you use the factory stops that are located in the bottom groove, you're going to have to move one away from one of either the front bracket or the bottom bracket. And I'll do that now. I'll just give you a bunch of tips and tricks on how to assemble these. Once again, there's great videos on the TSO website on this, and it comes with killer step-by-step instructions. So first thing I'm gonna do is just remove the front bracket. It's pretty simple. Loosen the knob, bring it here, and I'm gonna come over, remove the guide rail from the back, and take this back bracket off. So here's the first tip. I'm going to be using the MFT for assembling everything. And there's a couple of small parts and I don't want to go finding them anywhere. So, because they always fall through the dog hole. So what I do is I just put a board up here to begin the assembly. So let's look to see what comes with it. I always pour out all my parts into this. First, you're going to see these two connectors here. I covered the two brackets. All right. And then there's 4 knobs and this little piece here that we'll put on the end, and I'll show you the precision machining on this. The 2 tools you need are a 5mm hex and a 3mm hex. They don't come with it. Okay, so the first part is taking the rail to the bracket with the 4 knobs. So when we look at the anatomy of the bracket that comes with the MFT3, right here, and these are 2 5mm hex screws, okay? You have this part which locks it down, the height. You have a knob here which locks it to the channel up against the stop. On the other side, you have a hook and a nut here. And the hook locks the height to the top of the V-groove. So let's remove the bracket from the plastic part. It's pretty simple. You just come in here and you loosen these, and there's a little underneath here, there's a little U-bolt that's not threaded, but boy, sometimes those go missing quick. So I'm just going to remove this, and you'll see there's 2 washers. We're going to use that. Here, I want to take this apart so you can see it, see how it's not threaded, but that allows the bracket to move flawlessly in that slot. So we're going to remove this steel bracket, and I want you to notice right here how that has a slight taper. And this is plastic, and this had a taper too, so when you would lock it down, it would lock in place. But the situation is that this plastic over time wears a little. Where on here that we're going to replace, you still have that precision grind in there. Okay, this is a lot more stout and less wear. So you have the 2 washes, you have this nut you're going to reuse, and you're going to reuse that hook. So the only thing you're removing is that piece of plastic. Okay, so you got to be patient in this section because there's a lot of things that are in play here, a lot of pieces and parts, and especially these screws with those U-bolts. But the first thing you're going to do is make sure that this logo is facing up, and I'm going to do the one that has that finger there, and I'm going to place this here just like this. Then I'm going to take these 2 screws, hold them in tension, and then take the washer and put it here, and the washer here, and aim it through those holes just like this. Now I switch my hands, and I'm going to be holding those in tensions, and I'm going to make sure that I hold them, and I'm going to put a nut. Okay, doesn't matter where the hook or the nut goes, but I'm going to place it in there and start to tighten it. And as I start to tighten it, I'm not going to tighten it all the way. Now, the trick is to make sure that that holds in tension as well, and then put the hook in here and then tighten that one. So now we have to repeat the entire process on the other bracket, the one that has the hinge side. This is the one that goes in the back. So let's start putting everything on the table. And as I do this, I'm going to take this key and I'm going to slide it the long way to my stop here. And I'm going to tell you, as I do this and slide it on, you can feel how tight the tolerances are on all of this. And as I slide it up, here's the most important part of any MFT setup, is to anchor these knobs up against there. This part here is just for the height adjustment, and this hook right here is just to lock it. So now, instead of 1 or 2 points with the upgrade kit, you have multiple, and this works terrific. So you can see right here the tight tolerance in here, and I'm going to take this and try to shift it. It is anchored so well now with no side-to-side wobble. The tolerances are exceptional. So here's the one that goes on the front. It has the little finger here that goes in the rail. Oh, wait a minute. You're going to ask me, why is this the front and this is the back? Well, when I stand at an MFT, the repeatable stops, when I stand at the front, they're to my right. I'm going to get it in close proximity. I'm going to eyeball it. And now I'm going to put on my rail. So I'm just going to slide that key in here like this and just let that sit down and tighten them up, my 2 screws underneath. So I don't have that finger engaged back at the front. Does that sound right? Back at the front. But I want to make sure this is locked down and brought down here. And then I'm going to come around and very simply, because it's all loose, I'm going to take that finger and put it up into my rail. Now you're going to ask, is it square? Well, guess what? I'm going to show you how to square this now. So there's one more piece of the puzzle I want to go over with you. And this has been a topic of discussion I've seen on all kinds of forums. When you put down the rail on this finger here, there's a little bit of play in there, a little bit of slop, okay? But when the weight of the saw goes on there, because it's tapered, it goes away a little. But if you use your MFT consistently over the years, right here on the rail, you'll see it right here, there's a little wear and tear. So you never knock out that slop. That is what this locator pin is, and it is amazing. So the locator pin for the finger right here, okay, it has a slight taper to it and it's precision ground. So this slides into that bottom channel of the guide rail, and there's two 3mm hex screws here. And when it goes down on the taper, it locks in with 0.0 lateral tolerance / slop. So the first thing I'm going to do, it's wicked simple. I'm going to mark the rail underneath here where that pin goes. It's super simple. So that way I can locate the locator pin. Wow, that is an amazing upgrade. Just that little locator pin. There's a lot of folks out there that will square this rail to these dog holes with a few dogs. I don't do that because I know these holes have a wear value to them. But I always will square my rail to my fence. So I'm going to lock this down just like this and make sure that this part here with this knob is locked in place. And before I start squaring, I bring it in, and these are positive detents. I'm going to square it to this 0. I want to make sure that that spring-loaded pin is pushed down. So now I need to make sure that this extrusion is perfectly 90 with that extrusion. That's super simple. You make sure you get yourself a good square that has tall points or a tall tongue on it that you can bring right in. And if we look here, this is out of square. So to square it, it's really simple. And I try to take myself and these eyes totally out of the equation. So yes, I could see that there's space there. We know that. So to square it, it's pretty simple. You loosen these two 5mm hex screws back here, and it gives you plenty of play. And you'll see right here, as I hold the square, that I can bring it right in. So one of the things I've learned over the years is my eyes are going out. So what I like to do is I like to, like I said, take myself out of the equation. I take a Post-it note here and all the way out here because I can see these posts, but sometimes I can't see here properly. So I see if that's tight and that's tight. And when everything is tight, then I make sure my cursor lines up on 0 and I tighten these two 5mm cap screws. And I am good to go. So the last thing I want to do is go through this whole process every single time, correct? So that's why you have these positive stops here. We moved this off in the beginning, remember? So now I'm going to take that and slide it back in up against there and tighten it up. So we get everything set up. It feels really solid. So let's make a cut. Proof is in the square. Let's check it out. I'm going to bring it down. Hopefully the B-roll shows this properly. This is dead on square. And I can tell you right now, it's super repeatable because we've knocked out all the lateral tolerance. So to answer the question that was sent to us via email in this conclusion, it's an absolute yes. This is a home run. because of the precision machining of all the pieces and parts that TSO has done with this upgrade kit. So let's wrap this up. Oh, wait a minute. We need a question. And this is an easy one. In your shop, do you use metric as your measurement scale, or do you use imperial fractional as your measurement scale? Hey, let us know in the comments below. As we wrap this up, it's pretty simple. Thanks, TSO, for making this upgrade kit. And as we always say from the Sedge Tool Shop, be positive, stay sharp, and we mean wicked sharp.